Okay, hello everyone. We'll do our intro again. Hello, my name is Paige. I'm a registered dietitian and culinary educator here at Boston Medical Center. And today's class is sponsored by WellSense Health Plan. We had a couple of updates to our class for those of you who were not registered but are watching. We were making a recipe with garlic scapes, which are, I don't think I can share my screen with this recording, but they are a long stalk. They look similar to a chive or a scallion, and they are a garlic flavor, a garlic derivative. So we're essentially going to make that recipe. It was sauteed scapes with zucchini and some lemon. We're going to make that. We're just going to skip the scapes because I was unable to find them, which is fine. We're just going to use garlic. I'm going to use my handy dandy pre-chopped garlic. When in a pinch, I always lean on something like this because the goal is to make, cooking a breeze and a pleasant experience. You're also welcome to use fresh garlic. Both, I think, are great. This tends to have a bit of a stronger flavor because it's fresh. This, I think, is always great when you're in a pinch. Or you can use powdered garlic. We are only going to do one recipe today. We were going to do another one, but we're having some plumbing issues at my house, so we're going to try to stick with minimal dishes here. So thank you all for in the audience being patient as I went through that recap for the recording. So we're going to go ahead and kick it off with our recipe. Let's spotlight our screen. All right, so first and foremost, we need to prepare our zucchini. Like I said, we're going to skip our garlic scapes, but we are going to add some minced garlic. We're going to go ahead and prep our zucchini. I have 2 zucchinis here. You could honestly do as much or as little zucchini as you would like. I'm just cutting the ends off and the tops, and then I'm going to dice them. We'll start with a small one first. I'm going to cut in half. We're going to cut again. This is a great way to kind of handle your zucchini and cut your zucchini so it's not rolling around like this one. We'll cut in half again and half again. And then we will go down, trying to get some even dices here. These are good bite-sized chunks. Some cool facts about zucchinis I'll share as we cut our zucchini is, although it's commonly treated as a vegetable, and I'm sure we will always view it as such, it is technically considered a fruit because it grows from the flower of the plant. We were getting technical. Zucchinis are also a type of summer squash. You will have noticed that, in the supermarket aisle or at the farmer's market, you will find some yellow varieties of squash. So there's yellow squash and zucchini. Zucchini is essentially just a green squash. These really do grow rather quickly. I'm sure if you've ever gardened or know someone who's gardened, they have some pretty massive size zucchinis. This zucchini was a little bit thicker than my other one, so I'm going to do it into 3 slices. Has anyone, do you want to put in the chat, has anyone ever tried zucchini blossoms?
Never heard of that. What's the difference?
So a zucchini blossom is the edible flower of the zucchini plant. And it's before they actually turn into the fruit here, but it's let me see if I can pull up a photo. Flower. A lot of people will coat them in a batter and deep fry them. I'm going to try to share my screen. I'm not quite sure if the recording will take it with, but these are zucchini flowers. You can see people serve them with a dip. I've actually had them stuffed with ricotta cheese. They're really delicious with lightly in a batter and sauteed. But then you can see the little mini zucchinis are growing from the flower. So really delicious.
That's cool. Wait, so the yellow ones that actually look like flowers are edible?
Let me pull it back up. Yes. So the flowers, here's like the flower on the zucchini plant, and you can see the zucchini growing from the flower.
Oh, so you don't eat the yellow part.
You can eat the stem, you can eat the actual yellow part. So people often take these blossoms and they cook them.
Oh, great. I'm
Be
gonna have to tell
very
my friend about this because she was looking for flowers, edible flowers to cook with.
Yes, these I would say are more of a savory cooking flower versus a pretty, like orchid or something like that. But yeah, absolutely. You can see that these are the flowers on the top and the zucchini are on the bottom. You can eat both. People often really enjoy eating the flower. Here they are deep fried. A zucchini blossom flower fritter. They are really good. If you have not had them before, they oftentimes pop up on seasonal recipes or in seasonal like restaurants this time of year. I saw one at a restaurant a few weeks ago. I normally don't see them all year long, but because it's getting into zucchini season, but yeah, you'll have to keep an eye out for them. All right. Going through the last spots here. We have lots of zucchini here. Beautiful. All right. We have a plentiful amount of zucchini here. We're going to set this to the side. We are going to use our pre-minced garlic. I have our hot plate. Now we're going to add our skillet. We're going to turn the heat up and let this get to temperature. All right, I have some olive oil here that we're going to put in our skillet. We are going to start with adding our minced garlic to the pan, then our zucchinis, and we're going to just season with salt and pepper. Honestly, very simple dish. And if you do have your garlic scapes, you're going to add your garlic scapes first, saute them, add garlic, minced garlic, then your zucchini. Checking the chat here, making sure we don't have a question. Tusi says, I love a good zucchini squash blend seasoned to perfection. Yeah. Does anyone have a favorite method of cooking zucchini or squash, yellow squash? I think my favorite is probably sauteed. I don't know if I love grilled or baked. Probably sauteed. I think it's one of those veggies that the texture throws me off if it's not cooked properly. Oh, okay. Deborah says steam them. I forgot about steaming them. Yeah, that's probably good with some good seasonings. Equally, yeah, natural flavor is great. Probably really good for that texture. Tusi says cooked in the oven. Awesome. That's a great way as well. Perfect. Okay. I can feel the heat coming off of our pan. So we're in a good spot here. We're going to go ahead and add our oil. Let that get to temp. Let's get a spoon out for our garlic. All right. As we wait, let's get the rest of our ingredients ready. We are going to use a little bit of lemon zest and lemon juice to really brighten up our dish. We're going to add a little acid to, again, brighten up the dish, really enhance the natural flavors. Acids are a really great way to really enhance the flavor, brighten them without relying too heavily on salt. Salt is a flavor enhancer as well, but this we are not, adding excessive sodium. So again, a different type of flavor enhancer, really delicious. I think we're in a good spot here. We'll go ahead and do our garlic. Beautiful.
I see you had Italian garlic. I don't think I've ever tried that flavor before, or that.
I think that's just the
Oh, the
brand.
brand. Oh, okay.
Italian Classics. Oh, Wegmans Italian Classics. It says, let's see. Garlic, extra virgin olive oil, water, and some citric acid. So yeah, I think it's just minced garlic, but it's part of the Italian classics line. You can get, I have seen like sautéed garlic before, like pre-sautéed garlic. So there are definitely, I would say, flavored garlic out there, even though it's not necessarily seasoned, but it does have a different flavor to it. Garlic does cook rather quickly, so just being mindful of that, making sure to stir it. We're gonna get it just a little brown before we add our zucchini. We're gonna add a little bit more oil as well. Beautiful. All right, it's getting a little fragrant, so that's telling me it's ready for my zucchini. Zucchini is a really delicious vegetable or fruit if we're getting technical. We could call it produce if we want to keep it true to the fruit or vegetable name game, but really delicious. It is a non-starchy vegetable, so it is low in calories and carbs, high in water. It's got about 20 calories per raw cup. So again, very filling, low in calories and carbs. It is about 95% water. So it is a great summer food to keep us hydrated, or, all year round. But again, in summer when we might not be keeping up with our hydration needs. It is a good source of vitamin C, potassium, and fiber, especially with the skin on veggies. There is some good nutrients and fiber in the skin. It's not going to make or break it, but there is some nutrition there. Has anyone ever tried zoodles, the zucchini noodles?
Yes, I get them from when I do raw vegan diet once a year for a detox. I get them from pre-spiraled from either Trader Joe's or Whole Foods.
Ooh, okay, okay. Do you have a favorite way to prepare them?
I had it the last time I did it, I had put some tzatziki sauce on top.
Ooh,
I
okay.
think Trader Joe's has some of the, and I pick up random sauces that I know is good. Like Trader
Ah,
Joe's has some of the best pre-made sauces. I think I did that one time, and then I think they also have like a cucumber sauce and stuff. I literally just pick a sauce from there that I think is good and put it on.
that's amazing. I think that's great to see. Honestly, I have not really, fell in love with noodles, but I tell my patients and my friends, if you're trying to cut back on carbohydrates for whatever reason, you can always cut your zucchini noodles with pasta. So make spaghetti, make zoodles, and mix them together. But do you have any tips or tricks to getting them to really mimic pasta? Do you cook them less? Do you cook them more? Do you just drown them in sauce? What's your take?
I actually don't. So I do that for raw vegan, so I don't cook that week. So I literally eat them as is
Okay.
uncooked. But what I will say is, I think with any type of spiralized vegetable noodle, the way you prep it makes all the difference. And if you have a noodles and company, they had some like garlic zoodles that's really good. So the way they cook it, and I don't know how they cook it, but it was like a garlic zoodle bowl. It was amazing.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, that sounds amazing. I do think it probably just depends maybe your sauce or seasonings and how well it absorbs that flavor.
Yes, I believe that. And then also just like I feel like if you're not too careful, you can overcook them. So pay attention. But
Hmm.
yeah, I feel like the cooking method and the way you season it makes all the difference because I mean it was so good. Now you're gonna be hungry. Like that's some stuff where you're gonna be hungry in like 2 hours, but it's good.
Now you're inspiring me to try working with zoodles because I kind of gave up on them before, but maybe I just wasn't cooking them correctly. Get some steam out of the way. All right. We added our lemon zest and our lemon juice, two different forms of lemon flavor here. We also added some salt and pepper. The lemon zest is going to capture the essence of the lemon, some really light flavors, really delicious. while the lemon juice is gonna add some acidity. Again, adding some flavor, but that zest is a really, mild flavor, no acid. If you do not like that tang of acid, if you're not a fan of vinegar or those citric juices, you could just opt for the zest. You're gonna get that lemon flavor, but more mild and subtle. I like to add both. I did zest one whole lemon, but I only added half of the lemon. So either works. Now we're gonna just let it get brown. You can see here that the zucchini that has come in contact with the heat longer is getting this browning color. That is where the flavor is really happening here. That browning reaction is locking in flavor. It is going through a chemical reaction. The heat with the carbs in the actual surface of the squash to release more flavor. And that's what we love. We love flavor. It makes food enjoyable. Also being mindful of texture though. So that high heat, that direct heat is creating that browning, but we don't want to overcook it like Tusi said. All right, we could add some more flavors to this as well. I'm thinking that some oregano. And if you want a little hint of spice, crushed red pepper flakes are great to add. If you do not love intense heat, but you want just a little kick, definitely add earlier on so that the heat in the pan with the oil can activate the spice, but also kind of mild it out. It will kind of mild out as it cooks longer. A little does go a long way. Beautiful. All right, making sure it's all equally flat there. Going to check the chat. All right, love pepper flakes, a nice kick. Yes, it's perfect. It's not adding too much heat, but just enough kick. Ooh, Tusi uses Creole seasoning if she wants a little kick. That would be delicious. That's actually a great idea. Making sure I'm scraping all the garlic off the side. My garlic's doing pretty well. It has not burned, which is great. So we're at a really safe temperature here. Thing I like to remind folks of when they're cooking in their kitchen, or if they're new to cooking or returning to cooking, clean as you go. It is a really great way to feel less overwhelmed by the task of cooking, because I will be honest with you, planning the meal, procuring the ingredients, cooking the meal, and cleaning it up, it is a task. So for those of you who aren't quite comfortable cooking yet or just getting into it, it is very understandable. It can be a lot, but once you have your system down, it will feel significantly less overwhelming as you get used to it. Cleaning as you go is one of the ways that help me not feel as overwhelmed, especially during class. I know we're cooking together, but I want to show you, even when I dirty every dish in my kitchen to do our food demos together, I do try to kind of keep the dishes together and push them over towards the sink so that way it is more manageable. Let's take a peek here. This is looking really good. This honestly might be almost ready. Lucy says, I like cooking veggies to the point where they still have a little crunch to them. I agree. I think that's sometimes my struggle with zucchini is sometimes I will cook it too long and it lost that crunch. But if I let this sit and I don't touch it, it should get a nice sear on it and it should get that crunch.
Yeah, I feel like with the zucchinis, the middle cooks so much faster than the outer.
Yes, I agree. It gets that almost too soft of texture because of that seedy inside. Absolutely, I agree. Let's see here. Oh, this smells really good. I can smell the little spice from the red pepper flake. All right. I think it's time for a taste test. Let's get a fork out. All right. We're gonna get a little bite. Let's go get these flat again so they can keep cooking. All right, we're gonna do a taste test. Here, I will switch cameras. All right, taste test. I will give you a explanation of scent. So far, it's got a really nice garlicky scent, not overwhelming. It smells really nice. I can smell the heat. I can smell the red pepper flakes as they heat up with the olive oil. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and do my first bite. Mmm. Okay. Texture, not squishy, a little firm, but not crunchy. So I think I'm gonna quit cooking them before the insides, like Tusi mentioned, that inner edge of it gets too soft and it starts to get mushy. When I took a bite, I tasted garlic. The lemon was really light, but I will tell you what, there is a lingering heat and a lingering spice, but it's not that spice that burns your mouth. It's just like that flavor spice. So I think I put my red pepper flakes in at a really good time that it added that little flavor element without too much intensity. Like when I put it on my tongue, I felt the spice. Sometimes if something's really spicy, it lingers and then it's in the back of your mouth. And that's not what I'm experiencing here. So we'll go back to this. Here we go. Okay. I'm going to turn my plate off or my hot plate off.
Well, do you like it? I can't tell by your description.
I think I like it. I think I need to take a piece out of the pan and let it cool completely. Sometimes when food is really hot, it's hard for me to tell how tasty it is. So let's do a little dish. You know what I mean? Like when you take a bite of pizza and it's too hot, you can't really taste the flavor of the pizza. You just taste the temperature. So let's take a little bit out. I think it needs a little more lemon juice if I'm being honest, but if we're leaning in on the zucchini flavor, then I think this is the recipe. If we're looking for more of a seasoned dish, it needs a bit more, I think, lemon juice. But if you're gonna pair this with something that's already marinated or seasoned, I would keep it as is. If you were serving this alone, I would add a little bit more flavor, a little more spice. Okay, let's try it again. The texture is perfect. The flavor is really light. I like it. I think for me personally, again, I would do a little bit more lemon juice. Maybe a pinch more of salt. I don't mind the spiciness, but it's a little spicier than I thought. All right, I could enjoy zucchini this way. I Again, weird with the texture sometimes, but this texture actually worked out really well. You can even see we do have not crunchy, but you can see some really nice sears. Maybe it's hard on the camera, but some of the sides got really nicely seared. And if we had our garlic scapes here, again, those would add another different element of texture. They would be a little more firm. They're like a scallion, but scallions, I think, are more hollow and thin towards the end. Scapes are pretty, I don't think they're hollow. They're like a green bean almost. All right, what do we think? Do we think this is something we would add into our summer recipe lineup? I think I'm gonna add this. This
I
was
mean,
very
I like sauteed veggies and sauteed zucchinis. I have my own like favorite spices. I
Mhm.
think that with the flavor, is particularly when you saute it, sometimes it's actually hard to taste the flavor right after it's cooked. But sometimes, because I meal prep, when
Right.
I maybe like store them and then like the next day, you can really taste the flavor.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I think too, see, when I took a bite of this, like you just mentioned, right off the pan, it was good. It didn't, knock my socks off. But I think if this sits tomorrow, like tomorrow, I think this will be fabulous. I think that garlic will really be really shining. And I think the spice will be really complimentary. Um, yeah, absolutely. I 100% agree. Deborah, I saw you said something in the chat. Deborah would try. She does a lot of cookouts. Absolutely. This would be great for a cookout. Okay, let's play spotlight. Okay. Does anyone have any other questions, comments, thoughts, or concerns about today's recipe?
I still enjoyed the class. I love a little good, greens.
Yeah, a simple, easy recipe. Like I mentioned, I will keep an eye out for those garlic scapes and bring them to the next class. But I thank you all for your flexibility and patience as our first recipe was a no-go because I couldn't find the garlic scapes. And our two change of recipes, the second one kind of was a flop because my sink. So I appreciate you being flexible. I'm going to go ahead and end the recording so that way if anyone has any questions they want to ask off camera, they can. But I'm just going to say thank you for coming. Thank you, WellSense, for sponsoring today's class, and we will catch you next month. Take care.